So we have Belinda, the experts of overall all the overall DeFi sectors and all that to moderate this panel. So thank you, Belinda, and please take a seat. And we also have Victor G, the founders of Manta Network, to be on the panel. Manta Network is also a security-focused infrastructure company and focusing on ZKP of a lot of different Web3 or blockchain technology. ZK is zero knowledge proof. It is one of the most, I guess, the biggest buzzword at the moment, and a lot of people are trying to develop that. That is to really access finance and do all the transactions, authorizing and authenticate without actually knowing who you are. Is that a security threat? We will see what he thinks. And the next panelist is Robert Wann, the CEO of Enova Technology. Is he here? Yes. Thank you, Robert. And Robert, that Enova Technology holds the hardware and also software securities on the bank card too, which is being used in USA government. So we will hear what is shared about that. So thank you. Mike goes to Belinda.
Thank you, Ellie. Hi, everyone. So here is our panel about privacy and governance. You guys already know me just now, so I would love to have our panelists to quickly introduce themselves.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you for the organizer. This is really great event. About myself, I'm Victor, co-founder of Manta Network. Manta is we start from privacy, but more like a general ZK application platform. So basically, we have like layer one for the Rust developer build the ZK application, and we have a layer two for like Solidity developer build ZK application, and they can build on top of us like faster, cheaper, and easier. So without knowing any cryptography. The reason we started this project like back in the day, like 3 years before. At that time, most of people don't believe ZK will realize in next 10 years. But we did the same thing. This is kind of the trend. And before I started to know crypto since 2016, like at the time I worked at Israel, and that time a lot of people in Israel working on startup, and I'm kind of understand crypto like there, and I studied in States. Afterwards, I studied at Harvard Kennedy School. I took a class under Gary Gensler, who is the current SEC chair. It was really nice before, about crypto, but right now it's not that nice. Yeah, we did research on ZK and all of this technology related to government back in the days, and we find back in 2020 working with government is kind of slow for a lot of governments, but we find it's working adopt ZK in the decentralized world, so it's fine here. And we start to build a privacy protocol, and on top of that, we build a layer 2 recently. And this year we already finished all the infrastructure, and we focus on adoption. And right now we have around 350K addresses in our chain, and also 500K GKPP. So that's kind of pretty big number for the use cases, and we keep doing adoption, and I think we are one of the largest big use cases in the privacy or general application space.
Thank you. My name is Robert Wann. I'm the founder of Enova Technology. I specialize in building cryptographic ASIC. It's an application-specific integrated circuit. So when I'm here, I heard lots about crypto, and I actually put all the cryptographic algorithms inside a single chip, and that single chip performs all those cryptographic functions, including SHA-256, SHA-512, and RSA-2048, ECC, true random number generators, and deterministic database, etc. But our chip work at physical layer. So it's a very low layer. If you started understanding about 7 layers of the network, our chip works on the link layer and the physical layer. And Defense Department took 7 years to evaluate my chip before they decided our chip is a good chip and they started using them. So they waited for 7 years from starting company year 2000. And I guess they have a good reason to do that. I can think of right now is because they want to see if you can sustain yourself. And second, you can continue to bring up the upgrade, which is quite important because that shows that you can actually invest into your own technology and you believe in it. And third, which is quite critical, is to test if you would fail. If you go down, there will be no business. So from that waiting period, we keep enhancing ourselves and we did all the cryptographics. And on the chip level, of course, we need to bring up the maturity and reliability of the chip. So our chip is currently deploying over US defense, Australian defense, Israel defense, mostly in aerospace domain, unmanned vehicle, and unmanned aerospace. So briefly, do I question for you, audiences? Do I look serious to you? Am I a serious person? Can't blame me. Because the people I'm dealing with, they are so serious. They are serious in protecting their critical infrastructures. They are serious in protecting their critical information securities. And those people where I was talking to, I can't make a joke. I can laugh. I'm so happy I'm here because I heard about crypto. I get to meet lots of younger generations. I'm still getting so vivid. And this may be the business I should be in. So briefly, introductions. Oh, by the way, I'm also a certified information security professional, just so you know, SCI SSP, which I will encourage you younger generations to look at the information security is actually the underlying technology that executes your crypto operations. So it's information system security that will be most critical for your success with software integrations. Thank you.
Awesome. Wow, impressive.
I think I'm like all the students here also learning what Robert and Victor are doing in the privacy space. Obviously, you can see Robert is more on the hardware side, and then Victor is more on the software side. So maybe quick question for Victor, because I know Manta Network actually completed very successful fundraising. They raised over, I think, 25 million, right? Yeah, from like top funds in the US and across the globe. I have a quick question, right? Like for Victor, why are you building in the privacy like a vertical? Why are you so bullish on this?
I think I started to research about privacy back in the 2019. I think this is kind of a basic human right? And then you start to basically when the time I studied at Harvard, I was keep thinking how to do something that can impact the society. And there are different verticals. You can solve the poverty issue, like sustainability issue, or other different kind of issues. But I think privacy is kind of big issue, especially when you want to do something like in the tech space. Basically you can avoid the data leaking and all of these kind of issues. And especially we find in Web3, this is kind of a very big issue because the whole blockchain is public, and you have to keep it public. That's why Vitalik said there's 3 problems on this area, scaling and the current abstraction, and another is privacy. So basically this is kind of one of the most important. And this is going to be more serious issue when we upload more data on top of blockchain. And right now, besides, like only DeFi data, right now we also have like, the all of the, identity like data and the other this kind of data. So that's kind of, crazy to keep everything like fully transparent. So that's why we need ZK, to basically fill this some key information, but still can verify this key information. That's how zero knowledge proof, can be adopted in this space.
Awesome, thank you, Victor. When students, feel free to take notes, like, if you come across some terms that you don't understand, for example, Victor mentioned ZK, it basically means zero knowledge, ZKP, zero knowledge proof, and I feel free to research after, as your homework afterwards. Like recently there's something happened about the privacy protocol. I'm not sure, Robert, have you heard about it? So there's a project called Tornado Cash. So basically it's a crypto mixer. Think of a washing machine. So people who want to hide the fact that they're the owner of the funds send the money to the washing machine, and then after it's washed, then people don't know who the owner of the money is. So this is actually a very good, very convenient tool for a lot of crypto users, but they obviously some hackers or some money laundering groups also use this tool to basically anonymize their identity. So I wonder, right? And recently the protocol developers was arrested by the Justice Department. So what do you think of like the need for privacy to be regulated? I would love to hear both of you's perspective. Maybe Robert can start.
Okay, I can start. That sounds like a money laundering to me. I hope not. But privacy, as my view as an information security expert, I see privacy as two fronts. The first one will be personal identifiable information. Let's go PII. And the second one is protected health information, PHI. So healthcare may be the next good trend for blockchain technology. So speaking about protecting PII and PHI, you have a very formal and test-proven algorithms and methodologies and regarding with information security management to try to take care of it. And that's at least what I did for my past 20 years. So we talk about anonymizations, we talk about tokenizations, we talk about sharpening of the database, we talk about masking of the database. So there are database management technology that is able to do all this. But I'm not clear about, how do you put the name or did not anonymize the name from the crypto pool. What I did was very traditional. It was what we call it's a legacy IT. Now, when anything that's not crypto is called legacy. So legacy actually is not a bad name. It just means old and past, just like me as an old school. But what we did actually secure lots of vulnerabilities. Thinking about an IoT devices. The IoT devices has a basic operating system. It has a CPU, it has a memory, it has a ROM and a storage. And then there are attack surfaces everywhere. Well, starting with the entry door, that would be your operating systems. So your operating system is actually your major weakness. And that's what we'll be focusing on, reducing those attack surfaces and make a configuration of an operating system and healthy baseline. And that's in our terminology, we like to reduce that possible potential attack surfaces. And then we start from there, we build much more healthy CPU. So we understand what's our CPU calculation capability. We understand the level 1, level 2 cache, and we understand how the instruction will be doing by moving all the data and the pointer and registers. I'm getting too much technical, which is not the major topic of the crypto society here. But that's what we do. We secure PII and PHI. It's because of regulations, because there are laws that deal with these regulations, such as in Europe, you heard about it. It's called GDPR. It's a General Data Protection.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the United States, as we HIPAA, HIPAA, is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So we need to look at those laws, and then we need to deal with it by an information security methodologies.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think what's happened to like the tornado tax is something like we're really sorry about that. I think it's kind of unreasonable from my perspective because the devs they just build something like for as a platform. But like some people using this platform doing some bad things is cannot blame these kind of devs because they're not like basically try to encourage this kind of like bad things happen and laundry things happen. Because I mean Vitalik used tornado tax, I use tornado tax as well. So like if there's so many people using that, that means they're all of the guys doing money laundering. Maybe they just want to keep their privacy. So that's from my perspective. But I think it's kind of like but I do agree like privacy should also like follow the compliance. That's why like I think this year we focus a lot of things on the like credentials, privacy credentials, and we have like ZK KYC. It's basically like we take KYC from Binance, and this Binance KYC like kind of things can use in different DeFi and other like social fi protocols. And so you basically, if you want to use like this kind of privacy payment tools, you have to like verify through your like ZKBAB, like we call it is a ZK KYC like SBT. So basically, you can KYC on Binance, and then you use this privacy payment. And if there's anything wrong, just talk to Binance, don't talk to me. That's how we work, And I mean, like there potentially use pretty good user base from these like Web3 protocols. But I do agree with Robert. We need to like also expand more use cases in like basically like Web2 world, and especially like this year we also talking with some healthcare like companies, working on the data, this kind of like data privacy, especially for like DNA data, these kind of things. And I studied in Boston for 5 years, and like in Boston, like so many biotech companies, they really suffer about these things because they do want to sell this data, but they don't want to get trouble, because of selling this data. Because if they sell, they definitely don't get trouble because it's all humans, like real data. So we help them solve this problem. It seems that's kind of space works really well.
That's awesome. Yeah. So basically, I guess Victor suggests like for these privacy protocols, they can also introduce like third-party credentials to avoid like extreme cases like the Korean-based Lazarus group using the tools, right? It's a Korean kind of North Korean state-backed hacker group, Lazarus. That's cool. Just now I heard both Robert and Victor mention some use case of privacy. So I'm keen to hear, since we're in Palau today, right? Can privacy be like adopted by the Palau society? Any sectors they can potentially benefit from privacy and governance? Go ahead.
Is your family?
like potential use case in Palau, and then how they can benefit.
Okay, let me think a little bit.
Okay,
Uh,
maybe Victor, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are several things. I'm really surprised first, like, I think Palau government is basically, I think it's the best government and lesson, willing to lesson about blockchain and, especially zero knowledge adoption. I'm really surprised, Minister of Finance can talk about zero knowledge. And I never heard any of other countries' Minister of Finance talking about this world. It seems he actually understands this technology. That's something really impressive. But I think in general, how can we, there are several ways I think potentially can adopt privacy or even the whole general ZK, how to adopt this in this country. Basically the first thing is the CBDC, the potential, there can be a potential use case on the, the CBDC and the stable coin. And if you want to do this, interbank transaction or blockchain transaction, basically you have to the difference of CBDC and the decentralized stable coin is you have to know the identity, and this is something potentially can use. And we've been working with monetary authority of Singapore before, back in 2019 under Gary Gensler. I read the first paper about the ZK at that time, and it's still on MIT's website. And I think that is something potentially can use in Palau as well. And another thing is, I think, is the ocean protection. A lot of ocean protection use case about how the sea lives protection. These kind of things can use a ZK for this kind of to mint the credential, mint SPT, and this SPT can represent something and can do can help on donation, can help on the credential for this kind of donors for protect the sea lives. And also in the blockchain education, I see a lot of students here. That's amazing. If there's a lot of ZK education and this kind of knowledge can use in a lot of places, and basically students can learn this kind of technology and they try to understand the technology and then use the technology in the future. So that's kind of another thing. I think I'm really.
Okay. So security is complicated. So is life. I understand. So zero trust or zero knowledge. Zero knowledge is the first time I have heard right here. But in our terminology, we call it zero trust. And zero trust actually is on the same communication sessions. And you have a multiple authentications and multiple authorization during the same sessions. And what I mean by same session, because the entire 7 layers of protocol, there's one of the layers called session layer. And that session layer is where transport layer security and happen, and as well as the application layers. So again, I'm getting into too much technical, but I just want the government to understand that no blockchain software will be secure, or I cannot say that so boldly. So let me rephrase. Blockchain software will be likely to be more successful if the underlying information security technology is solid and sound. And in order to build a zero trust, which is only part of the authentication technology, it's not a complete picture. And then there will be more technology, such as access control, such as authorization, such as database. We talk about lots of database, and I believe that crypto is basically operating on the database technology. And that database engine require more thorough evaluation and examinations. such as, you can do a tokenization database before the actual database. So that tokenized does not reveal your true content of the database. And so people, you may ask me why I'm here. Well, I'm here to support one software company, crypto company from Taiwan, and they're doing a beautiful software for across the border transfer money, which I believe that you should meet after this panel. So this is the thing. Security requires thorough considerations. You need to be well architected before any execution. Just by cryptographic alone is not going to be sufficient. Cryptographic is just one of the control. So when we talk about data security, we talk about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That's our short abbreviation for CIA. And the CIA is not Central Intelligence Agencies. Actually, it's the CIA. So there are controls need to be in place to secure the CIA. And those controls can be administrative controls, can be physical controls, and it can be technical controls. So what we're talking about mostly is about technical control. We pretty much ignore all the administrative and the physical controls. So this is entire infrastructure there need to be laid out in order to secure whatever application executing on the operating systems. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm learning so much from the two of our distinguished panelists, and also the space is like very collaborative. Just now, we probably see something, some sort of collaboration they can have. And if you guys are hiring our students, feel free to look into what they do. I think you'll learn a great deal of technical knowledge from these two panelists. Maybe like one last question from me, and then later on I will open up the question for the audience. We're running out of time, right? Okay. Yeah, like maybe last sentence for the students here today. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just enjoy your life. I don't have much of stuff, but you guys are so young. There's such bright future.
I do encourage all youngsters to engage and to persist. And actually, I do this shit, it's pretty tough, extremely tough. I have to do shit from the original concept to 7 years later in order to have the first customer. And I can't fail on that. So you have to persist. You have to persist and you have to believe in what you're doing. Okay?
Awesome. Persist while having fun, everyone. Thank you so much.